Hello and welcome back. Pardon me because I'm just getting off of being sick, so you might still hear it in my nose. If you can send me well wishes, that would be greatly appreciated. Just send me good vibes and healing to continue on recovering from this sickness. But with that being said, I felt like it was really important to come on here and do a update for the Twin Flame Collective around this full moon, because even the twins that I have talked to recently, there is some big stuff shifting around, whether this is related to your purpose or to your actual twin flame relationship. Know that at the end of the day, right, like whether it's this external thing like your purpose or this external thing like your twin flame, it all comes back to you at the end of the day. And sorry if you see the camera shake. I'm trying this new thing where I have the camera like in the middle of this table. It's like where an umbrella should go. So I didn't really think it all the way through. Again, getting over of a sickness. So as I'm moving the table, I'm also seeing the camera move. So we're going to continue on because it's the message here that's important today. And I'm going to share a little bit of what I've been moving through as well, to really seal in what's been coming up with these full moon energies. And a lot of it has to do with past lives. A lot of it has to do with shedding subconscious stuff, like so subconscious, so shadow that you didn't even know it was there. So you might have these random shifts. You might be feeling caught by surprise by something in your life. And the reason why you're being caught by surprise, or it's a sudden shift or a sudden change, is because whatever that thing is bringing up for you was so far in your subconscious or so far in your shadow, not in a bad way, but that when it comes to light, it's going to feel like out of the blue, like out of left field. Why is this coming up? So with that being said, we're going to get some messages for you today. I do have my own cards here, so we're going to pull a few cards. We're going to ask Spirit a little bit more about this thing that's coming up. Can we get some guidance on that? What is coming up for this collective? Why is it coming up? And, you know, a little bit more about this particular thing. Okay. So right out of the gate, fighting. Okay, so what's interesting about this card is the fight that's happening, there's some closed fist, right? And then there's some open fist. So what that's telling me is you may feel, and this is really interesting because I also felt this over the weekend, and I never could really relate to this concept of spiritual warfare. I've worked with a lot of twin flames who have experienced this, but it was never like a personal experience for me. However, when I was sick over the weekend, I felt truly like there were dark forces around me. And this is not to scare you. This is not to bring you down. This is not anything. And it was the first time in a long time. It's the only real time I can remember on the twin flame journey feeling that way and relating it to like a spiritual warfare. I had it before, but that was before my twin flame journey started, so that was quite a long time ago. So if you're also feeling these dark energies, or you're feeling like some sort of internal fight within yourself, you might be, it's going to show up differently for different people. So you might be seeing this fighting going on in physical reality, or you might be experiencing it within yourself. So this could look anything like a dark night of the soul. This could look like a bout of anxiety or deep depression. For me, it was anxiety and insomnia. Like I legit could not sleep, and I was terrified, literally terrified over the weekend to go to sleep. And so I was sitting in this space of like, I'm literally physically exhausted, I'm sick. And if you guys were in tune with some of the messages I put out last week, James and I also were up in the middle of the night last week. So it was like this string of like 2 weeks of not getting good rest, like whatsoever, and just having these thoughts in my mind. And some of them were like incredibly intrusive and like anxious thoughts. And so I had my own kind of internal war going on. And I also felt it like, this is not my energy. Like, what is moving through me? What is going on? And many times during those nights, I like prayed and cleansed the energy. So this is something that you might want to do right now as well, as if you are also experiencing kind of this darkness or something that feels really chaotic or confusing, and you can't really put your finger on what the energy is, and maybe it doesn't feel like yours in origin. Know that this is coming up not only for you but also the collective at this time, right? So to the same degree that we are fighting to awaken, there are forces fighting to keep us asleep. And I don't really like to talk about this perspective much, because I really like to just, I do consider myself a light worker, so I really do like to focus on the light. But it's really important to note all the things at play. Okay, and so for example, the same is true as, the roots. There's a quote that I really like, and it's like the branches that reach to heaven are also connected to the tree that has roots that reach to hell. So it's like in the same space, we can only reach our true capacity for light if we're able to also reach and accept our true capacity for dark. And so if you're feeling extra dark during this time, or you have really strong shadow aspects coming up for you to be released, know that that is very normal right now, and that is just part of the awakening process. So there's nothing wrong with you. You're actually not being like spiritually attacked, and if you are being spiritually attacked, it's not going to win. Like, your awakening process is going to win at the end of the day. So if you can kind of just dig your heels in and protect yourself and know that this will pass, right? It's coming up for a reason, and it's in your field for a reason, and it will pass, and that you are strong enough to not succumb to it, right? Like, you are bigger than the problem, basically is what I want to say for that. So I'm asking Spirit, let's just get a little bit more insight on this for the collective. Okay, so like I said, the fight between the light and the dark is not going to win, okay? The dark is not going to prevail. You are the one who's ready to take flight. You are the one that's ready to move forward. And with that being said, you have to step into your own light. You have to realize, like I was saying, that you are bigger than whatever darkness is coming up for you, right? I just talked to a twin flame that said they were having a hard time because their heart kept closing to their twin. And one of the things that we have to realize is like, oh, I'm in control of my heart, and I get to choose whether it closes or not, right? Like when it's subconscious, when your heart is closing subconsciously, you feel like you don't have control over it. But as soon as you're in the moment, you feel it close, then you have the choice to open it back up, right? Like, you are not the victim of your programs. And so this was the same thing for me over the weekend with the insomnia, is I had to realize, like, so in the beginning, because we were all sick, every time I started to like fall asleep, I would hear James cough and I would wake back up, and then I would hear this and then I'd wake back up. And so it was this process of like me feeling like, oh, everything around me doesn't want me to sleep, right? Or I would hear the house crack, and my nervous system was so out of whack from not sleeping anyways that I really was on guard and on edge and very anxious and in like a very fear mindset. And so everything was setting me off. And I had to realize that, wait a second, it's not even actually about why I can't sleep. It's about the fact that I think there are forces that are making me not sleep, where I'm in charge of my sleep. I get to decide if I can calm down, if I can settle down. I get to choose those things. I'm not a victim to what's happening around me. And so this was calling me to step deeper into my ability to soothe my own nervous system, my ability to be a safe space for myself. And it came such out of left field, because I always identified as not somebody that ever had like sleep problems. Like, out of all the issues Serena has, out of all the issues I have, I would never have identified myself as somebody who had sleep problems. So the fact that this came up for me, again, it's that subconscious thing. It was like way out of left field. And I was like, where is this even coming from? Like, what the heck? And then as I was falling asleep one night, I had like 3 past lives that came up. So you might also experience this now, where some of the things that are coming up for you might not even be connected to this life. And for me, it was both. It was both connected to this life, but also past lives. And so I had a major shedding and a major grievance with these 3 past lives that came up where I actually died in my sleep. So there were fears around going to sleep. There were fears around letting go, like I can't let my guard down because I'm not safe. Because what if I die in my sleep? I never get to say goodbye. And then I had things coming up around my dad when I was a kid, and him leaving while we were all sleeping and waking up, and him not being there, and all these other things, right, that were coming up. But the thing that this is telling you is that if you can address whatever it is that's coming up in your life and realize that you are actually bigger than that problem, and realize that you actually are the solution to that problem, right? Like, the solution is not in the external world around you. The solution is within you, right? It's calling you to step deeper into your power at this time. So Spirit, what do we need to do to step deeper into our power at this time? Okay. Tradition. Okay, look at your family line. Look at your family histories, okay? If you identify as somebody who is the chain breaker, who is the generational curse breaker, if you have looked at the way the masculine and the feminine have showed up over the history, so not even like your family's history, but also the collectives that you participate in, whether it's your culture, whether it's your location, whether it's masculine or feminine. So look up, like start tuning into those lines, okay, and asking yourself, where does the feeling, so with mine, the insomnia, a lot of it came from this fear of like the masculine's not here to protect me. And then I was looking over at James, and we were talking about this at nighttime because he knew I couldn't sleep. He knew I was struggling through this, and he's like, what can I do to support you? What can I do to help you feel safe enough to go to sleep? And I was like, you know what, maybe you can like hold my hand, or we can cuddle, or, you know, like maybe you can wait to fall asleep until I'm asleep. And this was like a small thing that always bothered me in our relationship, but I never could understand why. It was because like I always felt like he was leaving me, right? Like he was leaving me by going to sleep before I was. And normally I always go to sleep before he does. But if we're cuddling or something and he feels comfortable enough to fall asleep, I never saw it as a positive thing. I was always like, well, why are you going away? Like, you need to come back here. What if I need you? And it's because there was still this little child inside of me saying, please don't leave me. I don't feel safe. I don't feel protected. And so I had this major grieving session. Funnily enough, after this major grieving session where I just cried and cried and cried deep from within my belly, I also was able to let go and fall asleep. So it was the exact medicine that I needed, was to actually look at where this was playing out in my own family line, and also where this was playing out in my own masculine and feminine, like where my feminine didn't feel safe with my own masculine, like, right? I didn't believe I could be my own safe space. I didn't believe I could be my own protector. I was under like a program that was saying, no, other people have to provide that for me. And I didn't believe that I could provide that for myself. So if you're looking for your own answers, check those places, because that may also help you to bring some light and bring some clarity to whatever might be coming up for you at this time. I want to get one last card. Very interesting. When this card comes up, I always kind of take it one of two ways. So this card is called Romanticism. So, and I always feel like it's split for the Twin Flame Collective, because there's twin flames that are working on both aspects of this. So for some of you, you are over romanticizing the twin flame connection, okay? And this is really interesting also because this came up for me in a session literally yesterday, where a lot of times when we meet our twin flames, we're pulled into this 5D reality, right? And then we don't realize, or we don't know how to bring that 5D connection into physical reality. So we feel like we can only meet them in that space beyond time. And so we romanticize the connection and say, like, it has to be that all the time, and it has to be that, and it has to be divine, and it has to be magnificent, it has to sweep me off my feet and take my breath away. And then we completely disconnect ourselves from the practical aspect that this is also not only a 5D relationship, but this is a 3D relationship too. So some of you are over romanticizing this person or the connection, and it's causing you to deny your own humanness in a way. So you need to reclaim your ability to be human in whatever that way is for you. Then there's the other part, and you'll know who you are by the way I'm saying this. There's the other collective then that is way too practical, right? And you actually are doubting the connection, okay? So something happened, right, in your childhood that caused you to cut yourself off from source, from spirit, okay? And you haven't yet reclaimed that full part of yourself yet. And so what this is calling is for you to trust, okay? Because some of you want to keep your twin flame in this 3D space, not out of anything other than just like fear, or because it's new and it's scary. But we're denying, and this is what's causing you to doubt whether they're your twin flame or not. So if you're doubting whether they're your twin flame, this might be what's going on for you, is you're also doubting your own connection to spirit and your own ability to trust in the divine. So some of you need to actually begin to romanticize the relationship more and see actually the divinity within the relationship more. So comment down below which camp you fall into, because I would find that really interesting who's watching this and what degree or what percentage of you guys are falling into either category. So I feel like that was really interesting, but I want to get one more card just right off the top. Okay, so high tides. What's interesting with this is here the tides are always highest around the full and new moons, right? So those are called spring tides. So what this is telling me, and this is a full moon right now because it's a full moon energy update. So what this is telling me is the tides are high. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling really emotional, that's okay. That's normal right now. That's normal with where the energies are. So don't, think you're sliding back. Don't put yourself into a worse position by judging the emotions that are coming up. Just allow them to be where they are and allow yourself to move forward in a way that feels natural and aligned to you. Take the time to just ride the waves that are coming, really just ride the waves. Because if you look at this card, right, there's the ship on the top. If you allow yourself to ride the waves, you're going to be okay, okay? You're not going to be swallowed by whatever this thing is, whatever it is that's coming up. You're not going to be swallowed by it. So just allow it to move through you and allow yourself to move with it, because you will come out on the other end feeling like yourself again. So just know that it is ending. It is coming to an end. There is an end in sight, and you will be okay, all right? I hope you guys enjoyed this message. If you did, please share it with somebody you love. Help me reach more people. And I hope you have an absolutely beautiful full moon, a beautiful day. If you need more support, you know where to find me. You can join my Union Catalyst portal. This is a portal for twin flames who are on the process of coming into their own inner union and bringing forward their own divine nature, finding their voice, stepping into their power. So if you'd like to do this work with me and other aligned twin flames, please join the community. You can activate a 7-day free trial when you sign up. And we do our live webinars every other week, so you can come join me live so we can chat about all things twin flames and what's coming up in the collective. So if you'd like to join, links are down below. We'll see you there. So much love to you, and we'll see you next time. Bye.